serpent, harmless as a dove. What I've noticed is the enemy, I've once made a video about this, trauma-based targeting, or induced conversation. Like, the enemy will target, because remember, the Amorites divinate lies by name, and they oppress the Israelites and Jews for 40 years, Babylonian exile or captivity, because they're divinating, okay? So the enemy will study, like he studies people, he knows human behavior, he knows about things, research your past, whatever the case may be. God's chosen especially. So, I had said induced conversation or trauma-based targeting, because remember, they emotionally and mentally witchcraft you. They choose the tongue of the crafty. It's native of their father, the devil. Their father is a liar. The devil is a liar, and they serve that. Their tongue is native of that kingdom also. You know, just like you say, Ahab and Jezebel, those people that want worldly things. An evil person's not happy unless they're causing division in someone's life. So, and that's why I tell you, these platforms too, you have to be careful. Because if you ever notice, like, well, you're thinking about this, and then it shows up on your, because it's based on your likes, your dislikes. No matter what anybody says, psychological warfare is being played on every human being in this world. And that's why people, whom the God of this world has blinded people from the truth, and he will use your weaknesses to his advantage, your strengths to his advantage, whatever he can, you know, he'll want you focused on, the enemy will keep you focused on your trauma, your pain, your hardships, life. You'll never see the goodness, because you know that's all about what you're focusing on. I'm focusing on I'm more than a conqueror through Christ. But this is what I've noticed, how the enemy has tried to, remember, Satan's target is your mind. And if he can control your emotions and your mind, he can control your life. We know he's defeated at the cross. But this is just some of the things that I wanted to address, that I know that I go through, and the people that he has deceived. Because remember, the enemy don't target people he has deceived. He targets people who know how he operates. So, and his king, with their irrefutable truth. Because remember, the Bible tells us Satan's target is your mind. So how does he infiltrate one's mind? If he can't get into your life, he'll use people. Like it says, your enemies will be of your own house, because there's familiar spirits there. They know things about you. They know your past. They know your present, and they're not at the cross. They're unhealed, so they're in Satan's territory. So he can use them against you. Those would be the first people. That's why the Lord talks about family betrayal, because they know your failures, downfalls. And when you start becoming a better person and they've not achieved that yet, of course there's going to be envy and jealousy there. So, you know, you'll get the, you think you're better than everybody. Well, I'm not in competition with my family. My family's supposed to support me and love me. This is how corrupted their mind has become, one mind with Satan. Oh, you're not supposed to judge. Spiritual man judges all things. You know, because they're not even, like I said, I'll teach anybody about the Bible, but they're not touching it. You can't, if my walk with Christ is not harmful to me or you, why is it so bothersome? Why is it so bothersome for me to become what God created me to be? And I do it through the power of God, not any other resources. The Lord would never require you to go into darkness to become what he created you to be. That the devil's a liar, right? So I think he's been deceiving people for a long time. I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm staying holy, I'm staying sanctified, but I do address things, because like now I just found on my feed, and this is something that I know I go through. They'll try to chalk it off as something carnal or worldly, you know, about like the narcissistic family member. Well, narcissism is traits of a devil, first and foremost. So you're going to see, the Bible speaks of narcissism too. It's rebellion, sin of witchcraft, a controlling, manipulative spirit, my way, the highway, hardening of the heart, however you want to see it. But you know, if they know, like all of a sudden this is on my feed and it's something that I'm struggling with, so I'm like, okay, the enemy's playing his games, you know, and it doesn't matter what people think, because I know, like I say, why is the serpent, the patterns, the behaviors, the feed, the live feeds that are on my thing, because I'm breaking through and I'm preaching against his kingdom. So you're going to face attacks. You're going to face attacks, and the attacks will usually come on in the ordination of things that he knows would put you in despair, to rattle you, knock you off your throne, knock you off that path of growth. You know, well, this used to bother her. Yeah, this is what, because like I said, I've been making these videos about the coming of the Lord and what's going on, and you know, so I've noticed like even how much I've grown. I like some of the greatest prophets were sinners, you know, but remember, he's accuser of the brethren. He'll accuse you before the throne of God day in and day out to try to, you know, rob you. Don't let no one steal your crown of righteousness. And that's how the enemy plays. He's an adversary. He's a fire, destructor, accuser of the brethren. So that's how he'll do it too. And remember, he's crafty in all the things he does. And people in his territory do the same craftiness. The emotional, mental witchcraft, the tongue of the crafty. Or they speak of things that they know would cause despair to you, bringing up stuff. Because for a while there, I'd be like, why are we having this conversation? Some people aren't wanting to know things about you because they care. They're wanting to know things about you, monitoring spirit to use it against you. Oh, well, this is what you're struggling with? Or then throw it up at you at a later date. And that's how evil people operate, not somebody in Christ. So that's when I had to check myself too. I was like, oh. So this is why I say, I use this platform to promote Jesus Christ in the coming. But, I just all of a sudden seen this on my video about something I was struggling with, and it's okay if I'm struggling with it, but it's way beyond narcissism. It's way beyond that. It's more, they want you to believe that's what it is, but it's blasphemy. It's blasphemy. It's carcinogen, cult of death. I can go deeper into this because I was revealed it. That's why they say if it's possible, you would deceive God's people. Because they shame and guilt on purpose. The tribe of Dan, where the spirit of Antichrist operates out of, the people that serve that, they do humiliation rituals and adultery. They serve a false god, Jesus and Nicolaitans, the Lord hated us. So I've had silly things happen, like someone will come in and try to get me to go take them to buy cigarettes. I won't. Or come home and two people on my porch drinking alcoholic beverages when they know I'm against it. So if people value your walk with Christ, they're not going to do silly things like that. They're going to respect your boundaries and your peace. And then it's just irony of it being someone that, like the Bible says, if it was a stranger I could have borne it, but it was someone I trusted and loved. When you see that it's your family betrayal, and they don't have to admit it to me. The Lord searches the reins of man. Vengeance is his. I'm not going to let them take me out or become like them. But I just think wow, and even when you try to address them, if someone sins against you, tell them, and even when you try to address it, it's like complete denial, no accountability, and it exhausts you. It exhausts you when people can't be honest. It exhausts you when you're around deceitful people that won't, and like they say, they slay the children, ransoming their own children to demons for economic algory. This is why the Lord told me to stop dating when he revealed to me, and that was a very painful truth that I had to face. To think that people that I trusted might have been putting me in harm's way. And they don't think there's nothing wrong with the cult of prostitution. The Bible tells us, thou shalt not pass the seas of fire, prostitute thy sons and daughters, or the land will be filled with whoredoms. That's not anything the Lord would require you to do. Humiliate or shame yourself or live in sin. Why? What do you think the Lord said here? I created you for greatness. Now go live in guilt and shame. I mean, that's not what the Lord does. That's not what the Lord does. That's something. That's like what he tells them. They love not the truth, and they gave them over to a debased mind where they, I'm actually mourning for them because I don't know how to take their mind out of that realm of reasoning, because anybody with a sound mind wouldn't reason with that. So there's something that's not ticking right, and when you address it, they just don't say anything. There's just no admittal. There's no accountability. And I'm like, and then you stop even addressing it after some point. You can't drink the cup of devils and drink the cup of the Lord. Do not intermarry them. They'll have you worshiping their false gods. They don't have to admit it to me because I have spiritual discernment. I see the spirit, you see the flesh. Most of the people that are doing these humiliation rituals have plagues. You see the reward of the wicked and watch them perish. Never envy a wicked person. Why? Because they are perishing. They're not deceiving. They're deceiving themselves is what they are. Because every soul is accountable for its own iniquity. They can't blame other people for their delusions. They have to be accountable for some part of their life choices or lack thereof, whatever it may be. But we're all can be redeemed. This cross is available to anybody who wants it, but you can't keep doing the same things and expecting a different result. That's insanity. And if you think that it would be okay to hurt your child or someone that you're supposed to love, that's an understanding I can't come into agreement with. I won't and I can't. That's not anything I could wrap my mind around. You're supposed to protect the people you love.